Good morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime, wherever and whenever you may be watching this. Thanks for clicking. As you can see, the beard unfortunately is gone. It was a mistake. I basically took off the guard of the shaver because I was just going to trim it. I put it back on. I didn't check the setting. It took a big chunk out, thus leading to this. I'm not a fan of it, but it'll grow back. Hopefully. Anyway, moving on to today's video, guys. We are going to be talking about the fragrance Harmony by the house Deux Parfums. This isn't one of their own fragrances. This is an expired expression of a fragrance called Overture, or maybe Overture Man by the house of Amouage, which is quite a hard fragrance to get hold of. I believe in the UK, at least, it's just a Harrods exclusive. So unless you're willing to make that trip to London to go to that specific store, it's quite hard to get your nose on it. So I haven't smelled Overture Man by Amouage, but this is Dua's interpretation of that fragrance. An interesting thing to start on is the note breakdown, guys. I know when Dua does a clone of a fragrance, from memory, it tends to be most of the notes match, or there's very similar notes in the breakdown. But then also they may chuck their own notes in to make it give it that longer lasting, or they may put a different edge on it, a different twist. Overture Man by Amouage only has 3 listed notes, which is cognac, myrrh, and sandalwood. And to keep it true to form, those are the 3 notes listed in Harmony by Dua Fragrances. So it's like for like. Gonna go ahead and spray it. I'm not gonna say too much about Dua Fragrances because I have in the past. This is the normal bottle now, the 30ml bottle. I think that's the only size they do. And this is Extrait de Parfum. Check out their website. I'll try and leave it in the description below. Okay, so I have had a few wearings of this as well, just thought I'd give me a fresh spray. Oh, there she is. There she is, loud and proud. Do you know what I think is happening? I think when I had the beard and the mustache, I think the hairs may have acted as a bit of a barrier, but it's real strong. Deux Parfums, or Deux as a company, is known for the fact that they make quite long-lasting, very strong perfumes. I own 5 or 6 Deux fragrances. This is by far the strongest, the loudest one that I've owned. Granted, the ones that I've got already perhaps aren't, their most well-known loud fragrances, but people comment on how loud and how long-lasting they are. This is by far the loudest. Another thing I'll say straight off the bat from smelling it is I don't have any of the fragrances in my collection that smell like this. And there's 2 sides to that. One side is because it's fairly unique to my nose, but then the other side of it is I don't know if I would want many fragrances in my collection smelling quite like this. So I need to explain a little bit on that. I blind bought this. I hadn't bought a sample of it or anything like that. And as I said, I'd never smelled Overture Man. Just the ingredients and what people were saying online about the 2 fragrances intrigued me. I've never smelled cognac in a perfume before, for instance. So I was curious to smell that. What I get from this is an old school powerhouse kind of fragrance. Right in the opening, it's very, like, some people would use the word aggressive. I like the word biting. It's like, it's full on, it's biting, it's aggressive, it's brash to my nose. But, after the 5-minute mark, that sort of settles down a little bit, and it is still as loud and as pungent and as strong. I don't think I would ever wear, like, at most 2 sprays of this fragrance. I do start to like this fragrance when it gets closer to that sort of 20-minute, half an hour mark, where it's quieting down a little bit, and it's definitely smoother at that point. I do like it a little bit then, but for me, I just think it's slightly too mature for my nose at the moment. And I do like mature fragrances. If anything, I don't like super sweet bubblegum kind of fragrances all that much. But this one reminds me, and it doesn't smell it doesn't smell similar to it, to be honest, but there's a fragrance by Penhaligon's called Sartorial, which smells full on like a mature, suited man, ready to do work, whatever, but it's an old school, it's an old school kind of fragrance. I do find as well that it kind of stays the course. It doesn't change too much. It just very gradually gets less pungent and smoothens out more. It doesn't change too much though from what you smell at the start, apart from its abrasiveness. Is that the right word? I would definitely say, you know, winter time, fall time. I personally wouldn't rock this on a summer day. In the UK, maybe a summer night, because we don't really have that many hot summers in the UK, or that many hot summer days. But it's nice, it's got its place. I'm glad it's only 30 mil of it, because I think that will take me probably over a year to use, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's good in a way that I've got a fragrance like that, because I feel like I've got so many fragrances where they're that versatile that I could just blast through them in a couple of months. And I personally, I'm always looking for a fragrance where it is that just that special occasion kind of fragrance, and I think this is it. What is that special occasion? Like going out to a classy cocktail bar. Maybe not date night though, because I don't know how a lot of women are going to think about this. I don't know if they're going to find it too strong, too like overpowering, especially in 2020. Again, like in the 80s or the 90s, this would have knocked the socks off. But now, I just don't know if it's too abrasive. There's a certain kind of person who would wear this, and in my head, you're going to be looking at 40 plus in my eyes. And that's all I've got to say about it at the moment. In regards to the notes, I can't really speak too highly about cognac because I've never smelled it before. I don't think I've ever drunk it before either. I think it's expensive, isn't it? But there's some sort of boozy element there. I was imagining cognac to be similar to rum for some reason in some way, and it doesn't remind me too much of that. The myrrh and sandalwood, yeah, there's a little bit of like a resinous touch, a tiny bit to my nose. The sandalwood is there, I would argue, but the sandalwood seems to be crossing the line between sandalwood and leather, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, that is Harmony by Dua Parfums. Dua Fragrances. What am I on about? Dua Fragrances. Very long-lasting fragrance, 10, 12 days, not hours, days. Thanks for watching. Leave it in the comments below if you've got any opinions on this one or Overture Man. Let's get chatting.